coming at ya.
Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah, well, we got a special little treat today,
Yeah,
don't
we do. We had Immolateus was here with us a couple weeks ago.
He was.
And he hung around for the little experiment we did on shipping beer from New Zealand to here.
Yes, and we didn't quite get a result out of that, so I think we need to do the experiment again,
Yeah, we need more beer coming to us. So anyway, but I drank a hell of a lot of beer after he left. Let me tell you, I drank it all up.
I believe it.
And then even I talked to almost midnight. All right, so anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to cut away to a clip of Emo explaining some of these beers that he made before he went on his drinking hiatus. Here we go.
Okay, so a year ago, I came up here to hopefully have a brew day with you guys, and I was hoping the hockey player might be able to make it.
Right.
And we were here for some family stuff, and family stuff just it didn't allow me to get away to you know, have a brew day. And it kind of fell by the wayside. But when I was here, I picked up, there's an island over that way.
Savi's Island.
That has like agriculture on it and stuff. Is that the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
place?
off the Columbia River.
Okay, so there's like a little like farm in there that you can walk in and buy like the freshly picked, you know, whatever's in their little store.
Yeah.
And in that store they have like a giant honey display that has these big 20-pound bottles of honey.
Ooh.
So when I was there a year ago, almost to the week, I bought the big 20-pound glass jar of snowberry blossom honey.
That sounds good.
And I took it home and I was like, okay, this is too much mead to make, or too much honey to make just one batch of mead with, so I'll split it and I'll do 2 batches. So I took roughly half, or a little over half, to make my first batch, which was snowberry blossom mead only, just water, yeast, and the honey, and you know, that was it. And that turned out really, really, really good. So then I did the second batch of snowberry blossom mead, and I, you know, brewed up the batch, but then I repitched the first batch of yeast onto the second must to come up with the second batch of mead, which is what this is. And the difference is instead of just being snowberry blossom mead, I added hibiscus flowers into this one, and then I used some dried up like craisins and dried up cherries, and some white raisins, and I ground those all up, and I hit them with boiling water, and I put that in to use as yeast nutrient instead of like the chemical yeast nutrient that you can use. So this is made like old school style. So the only thing in this is snowberry blossom mead, about 2 cups of hibiscus flowers, and some ground up raisins and craisins to use the tannins for yeast nutrient. And when this came out, everybody I handed it to was like, wow, this is really good and really different. And this is my first methiglen that I've ever made. So that's the story on that.
Don't drink this without
So naturally, and it has like a residual sweetness. It's a little different. It's got a floral.
So we can remember by the bottle.
Yeah, that's the short bottle. This is the tall bottle.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So naturally, because I had this really good colony of lager yeast that was fresh and still going, I brewed up my whatchamacallit batch of random everything, and I used like Zythos and Rawaka and some other, CZT hops and everything to make this.
Some of which
beer.
he may have gotten from Dan ABA.
I think ABA Dan, gave me a trial package of something. I'm not sure if it was Dan or not, but Dan, put a comment below.
Sounds like Dan.
I don't recall. Well, Dan gave me a bottle of his Berliner Weiss.
Oh yes.
That, and I told him I'd wait till like summertime to drink it. He's like, I was like, when should I drink it? He's like, you should wait till like summer solstice and drink it. Well, that's like 6 weeks into my, the new thing that I've been doing, which I've only officially announced for the past, today would be day 7 of the official time schedule.
June 17th or something like that, I think.
Anyway, so I really wanted to drink it, and like before I like officially announced it, I was like, hey Dan, how long is this thing good for? Can I keep it for, like, he's like, dude, the longer you keep it, the better it'll be. So I was like, all right, cool. That's going to be the very first beer I drink.
Nice.
when I get done with the whole year-long no beer thing. But anyway, back to the story. So this is that sort of everything beer. And I used the lager yeast from those 2 batches
Oh, that's interesting.
on this. So this is the 3rd generation lager yeast that I used to make the 2 batches of mead. To make my India Pale Lager, and I added guava juice into this. And the whole reason that I did that was there was a commercial brewery down in Southern California. My buddy shows up to my house one day. He's, dude, you got to taste this IPA. He hands me a guava IPA. I think it was called Mas Guapo or something like that. Okay. And I tasted it, and I was like, wow, that's really good. I want to try and make one of those. So, I was in the process of like, well, I'm brewing tomorrow. I need to go find some guava so I can add it into the wort and make my own version of this. So this batch has all the regular beer stuff in it, and then 1 can of guava juice. I just added it in like, I don't know what is beer and juice.
Not braggot.
It's not. No, braggot is beer and honey.
Honey, right?
Well, anyway, so that's what this is, and
it's a mellow beer.
You can't really taste any of the guava. It's definitely like an IPL for sure.
Okay.
Because you can't really call it an IPA. There's no ale yeast in it. But
I
you can smell the guava. You pop this thing and you're like, ooh, this smells like guava, and then when you taste it, it's like pretty much a regular double IPA kind of. I call it like a West Coast IPA. So have at it. You guys got a bottle of each or 2 bottles of each, because that's the last bottle of the
we will
hibiscus.
get together and do this together though.
Yeah, that's called the Homebrew Wednesday.
Yeah. So.
No judging, just enjoying.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Keep those kegs full.
Clement's Homebrew, always thirsty. That's
Keep
what
those
you
kegs
should
full,
know.
guys.
So now you've heard about these, and as much as we both want to get to the mead,
Of course. I mean, that sounds delicious.
we're going to start with the beer. So this beer was racked onto a snowberry blossom and hibiscus flower mead lager yeast.
Yeah.
And I know he used some CTZ in it and some Rawaka, and he couldn't remember what else. So we're going to go ahead and get this one cracked open and give it a try. So it looks like it was bottle conditioned, but very clean. I mean, look at that.
Very, very clean. I mean, that is amazing.
That is beautiful. Now I want to know more about the malt bill on this, right? Because look at that beautiful red color.
Wow.
And I don't know how much
is
that might
gorgeous.
come from racking on top of that yeast that had the hibiscus flower, because that imparts a lot of color. All right, well, not much of a head, but yeah, that's all good. Let's get a nose.
Yeah.
And we have no idea how old this is, but I do get this really beautiful sweetness, like some of the malts, like red malts almost maybe, but I definitely get hibiscus off that. Yeah, I get some of that hop character on there. It's hard to tell at this point. I think it might be a little bit tea-like possibly at this point, but I so get the hibiscus on the nose. And it's kind of has a nice sweet, lightly malty, fruity scent to me.
You kind of get a little bit of that dry cranberries and dried cherries in there.
I totally think that's
scent.
coming through. Yeah. So I think we'll jump in.
Yeah,
Cheers.
for sure.
Oh, that is so different.
Yeah.
So I totally get the CTZ on there. The bitterness, I just made a beer actually with Columbus recently, so CTZ basically, and I totally, so I got some on tap, so I totally know that flavor. But don't you get just like lots of herbal qualities on this? Big time herbal qualities. And I know I get the hibiscus type flavor on there.
Yeah, you get the hibiscus flavor in there. You get the CTZ, right?
I think it's Columbus, Tomahawk, and Zeus, as I recall.
But yeah, as my mouth dries out a little bit, you're starting to get like the taste of the dried cherries and the white raisins in there. They kind of like linger on your mouth from the fermentation.
A semi-punch-like quality to it.
Yeah, it does actually. It's definitely a lager yeast for that. Like it's very smooth and
very clean,
light and clean. Exactly.
But it's I feel like I'm getting things like I'm sure it's the hibiscus, but it makes me think of things like rose hips, those types of qualities. Oh, that's fun. This is so different. Thanks. Cheers to you, Emo. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Emo.
We're going to sip on this for a little bit, and then we're going to come back with the mead. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
And we've been drinking a little bit of water.
Oh, hot damn.
Oh, that's pretty. Look at that.
Yeah.
And now we're diving into the mead, and we're gonna. I'll recap what this mead is. So again, this mead was it was made with cherry blossom honey and hibiscus flowers.
Can you guys tell how
look at that.
gorgeous that is?
That is
beautiful.
That's kind of like not quite, but it's pretty close to the color of some of the eggs you get, like the salmon eggs for fishing.
Well,
but
I was
really
thinking
beautiful.
like a sparkling wine or rosé or something like that. It's just gorgeous.
It's got a little orange to it too. It's just, it really is a beautiful color. So again, snowberry blossom honey, hibiscus flowers, and then on a lager yeast, but then it was, he used dried cranberries, dried cherries, and white raisins as yeast nutrients. So,
and as he told us, he actually got the snowberry blossom honey from Savi's Island, which is just on the Columbia River here in Oregon.
It's right on the border of the Columbia Willamette River here. And when he was out last year, he picked that up. So yeah, let's get a nose.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sneaking that in there first.
No, not at all. It smells. Oh God, delicious. It smells good.
Wow, you can really smell the cranberries and cherries, and you can really tell that it is white raisins too.
You know, the way this hit my nose at first made me think of a few of the light Pinots, particularly this one winery in Oregon, this light Pinots that are super fragrant, super floral.
Fragrant.
Yeah, feckin' fragrant. Get the Irish on. The feckin' fragrant wineries. But this is really good. This has got killer nose.
This smells fantastic.
You know it's a mead. You get the honey, but you get so much of those other qualities on this. It's just amazing. You certainly do get hibiscus, right?
Yeah.
But you get, I'm assuming that you're getting some of that snowberry blossom from the honey, because I totally get something else in that sense. But you get some of the cherry, you get some of the cranberry. You definitely also get the raisin, which gives it kind of a vinous quality.
And I obviously haven't had a metheglin mead before, so it's even more intriguing to me.
So metheglin mead, basically, it's a mead variety. It's a spiced variety of mead, and they're particularly known for being made in Wales. They make a lot of that. So it's an interesting style. I say we go for it, right?
I think we have to taste this.
Cheers, Emo. Oh, hot. Damn. Oh. 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 He probably didn't even have to back sweeten this because he used a lager yeast, which is clean. This is...
Wow.
This is so good.
Wow. That's tasty.
The balance of sweetness on this is amazing. You almost want to say part of it cleans out. In the center of my tongue, it kind of cleans off, but the sweetness lingers on the side of my tongue and the bottom.
It reminds me of a really smooth Pinot Gris. Or just sweeter.
Yeah, and I'm not a big Pinot Gris fan. This would be like the best Pinot Gris ever, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You get those not so subtle nuances of the cherry and the cranberry and the white grapes. So it really gives it someplace like a vinous quality. So it's not just like a straight mead.
You know, I never even tasted any of Dan's meads because I didn't think I was a mead guy. Well, I have been corrected. I do like meads.
So, speaking of meads, we got a mead challenge coming up. And I'm glad this is not in the competition. It would crush I
Yeah,
think it'd crush the
game over.
competition. I think so. This is like, God, this is one of the best meads I've had from somebody before. I'm not exaggerating. I could totally see using a lager yeast on mead. I've been contemplating using some beer yeasts on mead instead, so that you don't have to back sweeten, so it just doesn't attenuate as low in the first place. And if you do that, for people that have problems like my wife, with sulfites and stuff, you wouldn't have to necessarily kill off the yeast, because the beer yeast just isn't going to attenuate as low, and it's going to just naturally leave a lot of sweetness. Mm-hmm. So you could just straight up bottle. I'm so doing that on my next round, along with, I think, adding dried cherries, cranberries, and raisins, because this is a hella good. We don't want this to be a super long video. We're going to say cheers to Emo.
Yeah. Cheers, Emo.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I can see your friends just totally digging on this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is so good. And the best to you on your 1 year off of any alcohols. Keep up the hiking. Keep the activity going. I've been watching a lot of
6
videos.
months was hard for me.
Oh my God, yeah. So I didn't go that long. I went a month. But keep healthy, my friend. We'll catch you all next time around. Happy Homebrew Wednesday.
Cheers.